What's up everyone? I have no idea how to start this video, but my video is me challenging myself to see how many meals I can make from just one chicken. When I eat chicken, I really only like to buy the chickens whole because I think it's better for the system and it's a lot easier on my wallet, and I'd like to invite you to join me on my crusade to only buy whole chickens. And that's my challenge for you. Now enough of that, let's get into showing you just how many things I could do with one chicken. Alright, and let's jump right in. I'm going to show you that my chicken's a little less than 3.5 pounds, just so you have a frame of reference of what I'm working with. Let's start by breaking this chicken down. There's a couple of different ways that I like to break a chicken down, but this chicken's all about value. So what that means is trying to give it as many usable pieces as possible, which means separating the skin from the chicken and taking all the bones out of the chicken. I'm not going to go into full details about how I do this, but here's a shameless plug for me to ask you to like my video and leave a comment if this is something you'd like to learn how to do, and I will happily make another video describing exactly how to do this. In the meantime, the chicken's magically broken down and now beautifully on my cutting board, showing you that here are the legs, the thighs, belly pieces, chicken breast, the flats and the drumettes of the chicken wings, and the tenders. This bowl is all chicken bones, and this plate is all fat and skin. First on the list is chicken stock. I'm going to really be wanting a deeper, richer chicken stock, so I'm going to roast my bones on a tray like this, put them in a pot, fill it with some water, let those guys get to know each other, and we're going to come back to this quite a bit later. Next up, chicken skin crackers. If you've ever intentionally taken a piece of perfectly golden, crispy, salty chicken skin off of a piece of chicken and eaten it by itself and thought to yourself, wow, that was delicious, I'd like to have a lot more of that, then we have something in common. So why not create that 20 times by cutting into small pieces, putting between these two trays with some salt, and roasting in the oven until they're golden and crispy. And while yes, we could have recreated every part of this video without taking the skin off of the chicken and cooking every part of it on, this was just a lot of fun. And maybe we'll do something with it in the future, but for now, just keep watching. If you've ever heard that fat is flavored, then why would we let all of that fat and flavor go to waste? I don't know, but let's render off all of this fat from all of this fat, and maybe strain off the fat bits from the fat, and we can do something with that fat later. Don't forget to strain off the fat from roasting your chicken bones, separate everything, and we'll come back to that soon. Now, let's put those crackers to use. I give you pimento cheese and chicken skin crackers. Kind of inspired by chips and queso, but I wouldn't recommend eating a whole bowl of this as an appetizer before dinner, but a great way to share a snack with your girlfriend. Let's get into something a little more substantial with a spicy fried chicken sandwich, and for this we're going to be using one of our breasts. This is a pretty basic preparation of fried chicken with a classic buttermilk and flour dredge, and easily one of my favorite things in the whole world. Michael Pollan once said to only enjoy fried chicken as often as you're willing to make it, and I guess for me that's pretty often. We're going to toss this guy up with a little salt and local hot sauce to give it that kick we're looking for, and we're going to start assembling our sandwich. The sauce here is a spicy pickle relish mixed with the best mayo on earth, Duke's. Next on is some homemade bread and butter pickles, followed by our breast. Finish that off with a little coleslaw and blingo blango, a spicy fried chicken sandwich. I'm gonna cut this guy in half to try to show you the cross section of this sandwich, but I'm so hungry and excited to eat this that I don't really care that the camera didn't focus on the actual sandwich. And let me just say that this sandwich was so good it made me want to forget the making of the rest of this video and just make more fried chicken sandwiches, but the show must go on. Alright, let's make some tortillas. All flour tortillas need some sort of fat to make them what they are, and traditionally that's using lard. However, you can really use any sort of fat that you want to make them, and I figured this would be the perfect use of that beautifully rendered schmaltz that we made earlier. And as far as floury things that you have to mix by hand and roll out with a rolling pin, these are actually pretty easy to make, and super worthwhile and rewarding. And while you could totally just eat these tortillas plain by themselves because they're delicious, I really like to put things inside of my tortillas, so let's move on and put these guys to use. Alright, with my tortillas I decided I'm going to make some quesadillas and enchiladas, and for both of these I'm going to be using the thighs. I'm not going to go crazy here, just a little salt and pepper and a cast iron and these guys are cooked. Gonna dice them up so they're easy to use, and let's start making stuff. I'm gonna dip my tortillas into this spicy enchilada sauce that I made and put a little bit of chicken inside, and while I roll it up I think, man, maybe I probably should have grilled off some onions and peppers to beef these up a little bit more, but it's all good. Lather these guys in some sauce and cover with as much cheese as you feel like putting on there, and let's put these guys in the oven. While those are doing their thing in the oven, we're going to make some quesadillas for our girlfriend who doesn't like spicy food as much as we do, and I'm sure you know how to make a quesadilla with just a bunch of cheese and chicken and 2 tortillas, and then that's going to go into a pan, maybe with a little bit of butter to crisp it up. Quesadillas are a super easy way to stretch a little bit of food into a lot more food, and in my opinion, they're pretty underrated. I'm going to cut these into quarters and fan them out on my plate as I kind of try to make this look somewhat presentable with a little Mexican rice, maybe a little guacamole, and some lime sour cream. Perfect, and our enchiladas are ready, which are going to go onto a plate with some refried beans, Mexican rice, guacamole, and a generous helping of the lime sour cream. And this is way too much food, but there you have it folks, quesadillas and enchiladas. Snack time again, and yes, for no other reason to show off how many chicken skin crackers I still have, I'm making the exact same snack. They're still as delicious, they're still as rich, and they should still be shared with your girlfriend. Don't overdo it. Maybe you've wondered what's the difference between a Sando, a Sammy, and a sandwich, and of course the answer is nothing other than what you want to call it. And for this Sando Sammy, we're going to use the other breast. A quick salt and pepper, cook it up, and right before it's done cooking, add a little crispy bacon and cheese and let that melt on top. Assembly starts with a garlicky, herby mayo, followed by some thinly sliced tomatoes. Never forget to salt your tomatoes. A little lettuce crunch. Plop on our chicken, bacon, cheese. And because we found them in our fridge, let's finish with some pickled radishes. Put the top on the top of this guy, and there it is, your grilled chicken sandwich. I'm gonna cut this in half and try to redeem myself to show you the cross section in focus, but once again, I'm pretty bad at doing this. It really doesn't matter though, because although my camera skills aren't amazing, I'm pretty good at making sandwiches, and this one is delicious. In my opinion, one of the biggest rewards to breaking down a whole chicken is making chicken stock, which not only is a lot cheaper than buying stuff at the grocery store, but it's also a lot tastier. For the risotto, I'm going to add some dried mushrooms to the stock, and this bag at the end is a black trumpet mushroom, which I didn't realize is going to turn the stock a super dark color. As far as meat goes for this risotto, I've decided to add the tenders and wings. As always, keeping it simple with just a little salt and pepper, this is going into the oven until fully cooked. Once it's done cooking, I'm going to take the bones out of the wings and shred everything up and set aside for later. Sparing you the time lapse of watching me stir this risotto 100 times, my risotto is pretty much ready. As you can tell, those black trumpet mushrooms really made this risotto dark. And just to finish it off with some Parmesan, olive our chicken, and some softened butter. I'm going to keep stirring this for another 30 seconds until everything really comes together, and then it's time to plate. Into our bowl goes our risotto. Top it off with some basil and green garlic from my garden, and of course, more Parmesan. As I hold this bowl up so that you can have a clearer look of what this risotto actually looks like, let me just say that learning how to make risotto from scratch is one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do for yourself. Alright, last on the docket, if you've been paying attention, the only thing that we have left to cook are the legs. So we're going to cut those into these smaller pieces that we're going to be breading and crisping up into orange chicken, which is actually really not that hard to make. The only price of entry is wanting to make a little bit more fried chicken, which we've already talked about, and I'm down. So it's going to go into some flour and cornstarch, into some egg, back into the flour and cornstarch, and then we're going to go over to the fryer and crisp all this up. And there it is, beautiful little popcorn chicken, which we're going to toss in our delicious orange chicken sauce until totally coated and swimming in a little pool of orange chicken sauce, which is really great on rice, which is exactly where all of this is going. So put a bunch of your sticky white rice into a bowl and put all of your orange chicken on top. At this point, I just want to stop and say, yeah, this is kind of crazy. This is like the 6th full meal that I've made for myself using one chicken. Gonna give these guys a quick garnish, and hey, look, a close-up where you can actually see what's going on. That's pretty cool. And while I don't want to see a chicken for a couple of days, here is my orange chicken, which is truly awesome. Alright folks, and there you have it. That's everything that I did with one chicken. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you want to learn how to make any part of this video. Give me a like and subscribe. And remember, the only way to get better at cooking is by cooking.